basketball.
Yes.
Okay. Number 3, invocation or moment of silence. And, I keep thinking the world's going to get more stable, and I keep thinking I'm wrong. And certainly a lot of things to think about seriously, and I'd like to have a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. Number 4, hearing of public delegation.
We have one person, Mr. Zach Gibson, is going to talk about faculty use of athletic facilities.
Okay, good.
You guys understand that?
Doesn't matter.
As long as we can hear you.
I'm sure you can probably hear that. Okay.
Hope everybody's doing all right tonight. I wrote some stuff down. I usually speak off the top of my head, but I want to make sure that I cover everything. I'm here to ask for access to use athletic facilities. It's always been granted to employees, community members. We let cash use it. We've had funerals in there. We've had whatever in there, okay? So I went through the chain of command. I asked Nikki. I was denied by Nikki. Then I asked Don. I was denied by Don. So you guys are my last stop, obviously. I had some emails with Mr. Wise back and forth that I wanted to discuss and the reasons he gave me. And so I wrote it down, and I've also printed out copies for you guys, if you'll pass those around Michelle for me. And there's nothing ridiculous in there. It's just our communication back and forth. I'm going to read these and go over them and give my reasoning behind them and my thoughts behind them. So number 1 says, I am also denying your request for a key to the gym. There are a few reasons for this. 1, I am given to understand you have left the gym without adult faculty supervision in the past. My response to this is this, that's hearsay. I don't operate in hearsay. If there's any tangible evidence, I would love for it to be brought up right now, but I think that's part of the rumor mill, and there's no evidence behind it. If there is, I would like to know about it. 2 says there's a direct liability that can impact the district, the AD, and the superintendent. There's no liability. I'm an adult. I'm a teacher. I'm employed here. There's no liability. 3, if I provide access to you and your child, I would have to provide access to any faculty member that requested. What I just told you guys. It has always been provided to faculty members. We are employed by the district. I have a background check. We all do. And then what I mentioned before, we often use the gym for funerals, community functions, and we've even allowed cash down the road to use it a few times. And so my question is, why is it different now? 4 says I have been in 7 districts, and a key to the gym facilities have never been handed to the faculty with the exclusion of the coaching staff. My response to that was large districts operate different than smaller districts. That's a fact. You guys can call around and find out if you want to. And then number 5 is what I really want to talk about. And I'll read it all. It's kind of lengthy, but I'm going to read it. It says, when I first arrived, there were people using the gym when they were not supposed to. I did speak with Ms. Vogley, and she stated that no one had permission to use the gym. I should state that this was during dead week when I told the coaches that absolutely no one was to use the gym. At the time, it was over 100 degrees outside, and the doors were wide open on both sides. You may not be aware of it, but it was costing the district $5,000 per month for electricity during the summer months when no one was here, and I couldn't figure out why. Okay. Additionally, the place was a mess every morning, and I was blaming our students. I have also had to repair the goals. Wear and tear on facilities costs money. I wasn't quite sure what this had to do with me because I was out of state all summer. I resigned from my coaching position months before, took a job in Florida, came back 3 days before school started. I also think those numbers are fabricated or at the very least inflated. I would love to see them. I was gone for the 2018 summer as well, so I'd like to see how those numbers line up. If the place was a mess every morning, then why didn't we simply check the cameras? We have cameras in there, so if it was myself or other coaches or students or whoever it may be, surely we can check the cameras. Wear and tear is a normal part of the facility upkeep. That is something every district deals with. let's be clear, the facilities were upgraded during my time here. Practice jerseys didn't have when I came, new locker room, shoot away, new floor, which you guys voted on, which was great. And this is hard for me to say because I do care about a lot of people in this room, but I want to end with this. I know some of you in this room don't care for me. I know I work alongside people who don't care for me. I want to be honest, I don't care, guys. My job isn't for you to like me, and Indiahoma's proven it's really good at running good people off. We showed that last year with the entire Sunray family. It's why we've never experienced any sustained success, academically or athletically. There's been plenty of coaches that have come through those doors before me. They've either done a terrible job or they snuck off in the middle of the night, which we know to be true. I've spent the last 5 years investing in your kids. I've never cheated them with my time. It's always been about the kids. Go ask them. Any current student or previous student. It doesn't have to be the athletes. I've invested in them, and now I'm looking for gym time to invest in my own 9-year-old. So that's what I'm coming to ask you guys. I'm employed here. We've always allowed faculty to use it, whether it's myself or Trish or Boss or whoever. I guess I'm confused why we don't have access to it. So I don't know. I know you guys can't vote on it. I just wanted to come and speak, and hopefully a provision or something can be put in the student handbook, and we can go from there.
Thank you. Actually, in item 9.2 on the agenda is consideration, discussion, and possible board action regarding faculty key access to the gym and outside organizations using, so we will be addressing
So
this.
I probably should have known that beforehand. I probably should have read it. That's
No.
tonight?
Yeah.
Okay,
that's
so I
tonight.
didn't know.
No, you needed to speak.
Okay, so I
Yeah,
didn't
we
know.
needed you to speak.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys. You have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, and that was in,
Yes, that's
okay. And number 5, superintendent report and board discussion.
There's a lot to report, guys. Some great things are going on. I just want to talk to you about the first one. Sort of found out after I created this superintendent's report, but I need to talk about it. So the Oklahoma State Regents for Higher Education has listed Indiahoma as state champions for their scholarships. Yes, and this is the 3rd time in a row that we've led the state for Class B with the number of scholarships for our students. It's pretty amazing. This is through Oklahoma's Promise. Oklahoma's Promise is a state program that provides an opportunity for students to earn a tuition scholarship for college or certain programs at public career technology centers. We have 11 students, and the very next group had 8. So we are the state champions 3 times in a row,
3 peats.
and it's pretty remarkable. You know, this means that our students have an opportunity to go to college, and there's even some other great news that I'm going to talk about later in the board agenda.
And that's just the Oklahoma Promise kids. We have
Yes.
a lot of other kids.
Well, there's other great news in here.
Yeah.
So, we're getting recognition for this. This is from the Oklahoma State Regents. It was in the news also, in case you guys didn't know. If you guys are keeping up with it, that's pretty fantastic. I'm pretty stoked about it and very happy and proud of our kids. They're amazing. And you know, the staff that works with them, amazing. So I can't say enough about it. One of the things that's going on, I don't know if you guys know this or not, we have a greenhouse in the back. I was really worried about that greenhouse because it was sitting out there and I didn't think that we were going to be able to get it off and running. Well, lo and behold, Lisa Lafferty has spearheaded a project with our greenhouse and it is looking fantastic. A group of people went in there, they cleaned it up, they have plants in there, they're growing right now, they're going to be ready to sell those plants to the community in the spring. And it's also going to be used for our science classes at the elementary level. So students can go in there, they can learn about plants, they can learn about, you know, the different parts, how they grow, soil structure, weather patterns, the whole 9 yards. It's going to be really something great for our elementary students. But even more importantly, this is a project where the community is actually involved. And so we have a number of people from the community that have come in to help with this. I was out there and I met a bunch of great people. Tammy Roberts, Cody Stahl, Tanya Myers, Coretta Albright, Will and Linda Lindgreen, Darlene Fontenot, Rhonda Myers, and Justine Lovelace all helped and were helping us get the greenhouse together and put all the plants out there It looks fantastic. It's running great. The electricity's running. It's heated. I know that we had some cold days, but everything's under control. It's gonna be ready to go for the spring. Personally, I'm just gonna tell you, we're gonna get some of the plants for the front of the school, and I'm personally gonna get some for my house. So I asked them if they could find some hard to find stuff, and I don't know if they can or not, but I'm pretty excited about that. Next thing on the list, auditorium update. We have constructed those restrooms and they're nearly complete. We're lacking one piece on that. And they look pretty fantastic. That is one area that the community goes into time and time again, and we needed to upgrade it. It looks really great. So that should be finished in the next week or so. We're just waiting on one piece for it. The rest of it's done, and it is usable at this time. We are also working on the boys' restroom in the high school hallway. We have that going. That's gonna be about a 2-week completion on that. But it's looking great so far, and they've been working on it just about every day. We've been trying to work around, not make so much noise for the instruction and that sort of thing. And then we have a couple of restrooms on the elementary side that we're gonna be taking a look at to update, just letting you know. The timeline on the elementary restrooms will be sometime in April. I asked them to have everything complete because we're using the 793 and we need to expend those by June. We're trying to get them completely expended by June. I needed to talk to you about the rental house. We have 2 rental houses here in Indiahoma, and the purpose of having those houses is to try to recruit and keep teachers here in the district. So one of the things that we had to do was take a look at the rental house after somebody left and work on it. There was a lot of things that needed to be done. Those invoices and everything, the cost is in tonight's package. I'm just letting you know, we had to replace the floors, the carpets had to be done. We put new floors in there, we fixed the walls, there were holes in the walls. We redid the kitchen so it looks so much better, and we actually have a teacher that needs to move in there. It looks like that they're probably gonna move in at the end of this month, at the end of February. So I'm just letting you know about that. It's something that we had to do. It was just sitting there vacant until we fixed it up. And I'm just gonna be honest with you guys, I could not let somebody move in there in the condition that it was in. We had to fix it, so we did. Return to learn plan, no changes at this time. Guys, we have almost, nobody's sick today. I think we had 3 out, which is really great. We've had a little bit of sickness going around, but not a whole bunch. Definitely, COVID is not overtaking us by any stretch of the imagination. No changes needed at this time. Our kids are doing great. Any questions or comments?
The one rental house that we've got's over on the corner, the one that caught fire,
Yes.
that's the one that, Plaster family, they're living in. The other one's back over here. Right.
Yes, it is, right behind us, yeah.
Okay. So they're both
2 houses over.
ready to go? Good.
We're doing one final cleaning, just to let you know, we're gonna do one final cleaning on it. And, you know, one of the things that I wanna do is just wash those carpets. They were really in bad shape, in the bedrooms. We replaced the flooring in the living room and in the kitchen, and there was water damage in the washroom area. We replaced the floor in there as well. We fixed the bathroom, fixed all the leaks, and just made sure everything was in much better shape.
The carpet's gonna be professionally done?
It's not carpet now, it's,
I
flooring.
mean.
The bedrooms,
bedrooms?
bedroom carpets.
Oh, the bedroom carpets are gonna be professionally cleaned, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
I'll
professionally
get
cleaned.
with you on that, cause I used to be in that business.
Okay, that sounds great,
Okay.
sounds great. Well, yeah, we're gonna complete that and have
Still
someone
got
move in
the
by the end of
equipment.
this month.
Good.
You still got the.
No, no.
It's better than
I'll
having
get
all the
with
time.
Absolutely.
Any other questions?
Cleaner. Carpet cleaner, steam cleaner,
Moving on to
professional.
number 6, the statement of consent agenda. The following matters may be approved in their entirety by the board upon the motion made, seconded, and passed by a majority vote of the board members. However, upon request by any board member, any one or more of said matters will be removed from the consent agenda and acted upon separately. Are there any items that a board member would like to vote on separately?
Can I make a comment on the treasurer report, on the interest from the bank? I just wanna let you know that they've gone from 1% to 2.72% for the month of January, so they really they're,
Does that
that's
fluctuate
really good.
monthly?
I mean,
Every
Does
little
that
bit.
fluctuate monthly?
no, it hasn't. That's the most that's the most they've given us. We've been at 1% or less
Yeah.
for probably 2 or 3 years, so.
Yeah.
That was quite a big increase, and I wanted to point that out, so.
Thank you. Is there discussion on the consent agenda? Is there a motion?
I make the motion to approve all.
I'll second it.
McKinney,
Yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Ramirez,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Cavall.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Number 7, we don't have to do since we didn't remove any items from the consent agenda. Okay, I'm sorry. With number 7.1 is consideration possible board action to approve minutes of regular board meeting January 10th. Did we sign that already? Did we?
Well, actually, you took a motion and a vote, and they did 7.2, but you can include 7.1 in that if you wanted to.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see.
See,
I
they're
see,
just-
I see, yeah. Okay, yeah, 7.1 was considered, okay. Well,
Go to 9.
go to, yeah, right, go to 9, go to 9. Okay, I'm getting myself confused. It's normal for me, I'm told.
Sit next to me, so.
Number 9.1, consideration, discussion, and report from Andy Lax, Heritage Hills Roofing. You have the stage.
All right, thank you, sir. Well, I want to thank you guys for allowing me to come in this evening. I really want to, secondly, apologize for the length of time it's taken me to complete this project. Just, due to various things, and then also knowing that the LED sign was going to be done until January. But I'm not really big into making excuses, but I just want to apologize for that. I do want to bring up a few things. Whenever I first got the claim from Ms. Vogley, the claim amount was $282,000, roughly $282,200. On my own dime, with had to get various lifts and a third-party public adjuster, which cost me like $11,000 out of my pocket. We rescoped the whole project to what it was supposed to be and took it to $845,057.83. So I think I've worked hard for Indiahoma Public Schools, and every roof that we put on has been of the highest quality. And so, I just want to point that out. So I've got an invoice here. So I just went off the, the actual cash values amounts of the remaining roof. I excluded the elementary. I know there's a point of contention there. I'm just gonna, we did it July 1st. I'm not gonna, I don't want there to be any ill will when I leave. I don't whatsoever. I work with school districts across the state. I think, my name and my integrity is the most important thing to me. And so I came up with $186,906.70 minus the $78,522.50 that I was overpaid on the original invoice. Because I did RCB amounts versus actual cash value. And so I've got $108,384.20. And then plus the extra work for where the weight room is, the lean-to roof. We totally redid it because it was bowing in and leaking really bad when we first started. We took everything off, scabbed in about 10 rafters, redecked it and re-roofed it. We put the skirt around the mobile classroom, and then we put the concrete around that building as well because the water was getting in at the foundation level. And I think, to my knowledge, that has been successfully accomplished as far as moisture getting in that building. So I'd be more than happy to answer any questions. Like I said, I wanted to come and just open myself up and be transparent as possible, and hopefully get this thing
finished.
I have a question, I'm
Sure.
sorry. What roof did you do July first?
The elementary roof.
The elementary roof?
Mhm.
Okay. Are you sure you're not mistaken? That was my first day of work, nobody was here.
We were here. I can send you the completion photos whenever. But actually, I'm not even gonna, I don't want to, I'm not even gonna, I'm omitting that, so it's really not even a, so I'm not even gonna, it's not on my invoice, so I don't want that to be a sticking point here.
It is on the invoice. If you look at the elementary, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, not on my invoice, not on my invoice here.
Okay, you did bring it
Did you
with
bring
you.
a second invoice? Or
You brought a
are
new
you saying-
invoice. A new
Yeah,
invoice.
it's, yeah, for.
Yeah, this is
everything
the invoice here. I don't know who I give it to.
Mr.
Wayne.
Yeah, Mr.
No,
Bales.
But I'm just leaving that one three off. I don't, it's more important to me to,
So, we have a balance, we owe you of 108.
and then plus the extra, for the extra stuff.
The
What extra
extra
stuff
stuff.
are you referring
So
to?
we,
The skirting around
skirting around the mobile classroom,
in the apron. around
and then we, the lean-to roof where the old weight room was, it was caved in, and we took shingles off, took the decking off, scabbed in, tin rafters, redecked it, reshingled it, and then did concrete around that building as well.
So it'd be like an additional 118,000 and plus.
Yeah, roughly, yes, sir.
So,
Yeah. There.
but the old weight room where you had it at being 6,186.45, you're saying it went up from that?
No, that's just additional. I mean, that was completed. That is totally separate of, that has nothing to do with the insurance claim.
So
There
was there a bid or a contract for the extra work?
Yeah, I sent it to, Ms. Boakley.
Do you have a copy of it?
I don't have a copy. I can send it to you this evening.
Okay.
Did Ms. Vogel sign it?
Yeah, she approved it, yes.
I have a question, I'm sorry. The process for the elementary school, can you outline what that was, please?
Power wash and coat it,
Coat it with what?
silicone coating.
Silicone coating. Do you have the specs on that?
Yeah, it's a GE Enduros 3500, high solid silicone.
Okay. I'm gonna just outline that the problem that we're gonna have is that if the elementary school hasn't been done, which I don't think it looks like it hasn't been done. I've been up on that roof a couple of times. And we're paying all of this money, we're not gonna have another opportunity to have that done.
Yeah, we can redo it. I'll be glad to. No questions asked.
The reason why I say that is because when I went up there, when was it, yesterday? Deathly afraid of heights. I'm afraid of heights. I went up on top of that roof on a sketchy ladder. I'm just gonna tell you, I was about to fall off the ladder, because I'm not used to climbing
Like I
those
said,
things.
making you guys happy and my, name is more important. We'll redo it.
But let me finish. When I went up on that roof, there's literally a bucket that's sitting over one of the pipes that's wired down to the top of it. There's no way that could be professional work. Some of the skirting that's, flashing, that should be around some of the pipes, isn't tight, and it's gonna leak in there. That-
Are any of the other roofs, are you having any issues with anything?
Well, I just wanna make sure that for the amount of money that, and everything that's on the statement of loss is taken care of, because those things are what we got money for.
Sure.
And if we have the money to pay for that, it needs to be completed.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And that's what the contract says. I mean, the contract says that, the money that we're gonna get from the insurance is gonna pay for these types of things.
Absolutely.
And right now, I went up there and it does not look to me like it has been power washed or sealed.
Okay, once again, I will,
I mean, double check it.
I will. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Double check it, because I'm concerned about that.
Okay.
And this is not my money. This
Oh.
money belongs to the community, and I'm responsible
Sure.
fiscally
100%.
for every penny of this that gets spent.
Absolutely.
And I wanna make sure that every person in Indiahoma gets every single penny that they deserve.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more.
In other words, we don't mind paying for the roof if it's
Sure.
done, if the elementary is done to specs.
Absolutely. 100%. I will.
I guess that's what we mean. I'm assuming for a lot of other people here, I'm sorry.
Any other questions or comments?
What color is your, when you put the sealant back down on there, what color is it?
Which we, what
The
we're
cell
talking about?
Bill?
Oh, it's white.
Okay.
You can get it white, gray, or tan.
Okay, now would that fill in all cracks and crevices and all that kind of stuff around pipes coming up?
It should, yes.
Okay, in the valleys, it should be in there, so the whole top of that building should look pearly white.
Well, it fades pretty quickly.
I understand, but we should see a demonstrated,
And like I said, I'll make it, we'll make it right.
Okay.
well,
We'll make it right.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, why wasn't it done right the first time? Why are we having this discussion?
I can't answer that, but I'll make it right. You have my word on it.
And when do you anticipate having this?
If the weather, if the weather's good,
March in Oklahoma?
yeah.
You don't wanna do some things in the wind, on the roof.
Like next Tuesday, it's 67 and Wednesday 63. So I will plan on starting it Tuesday of not this week, but next week.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
How many times can you recall that you said you're gonna do things and you haven't done it?
Like I said, I apologize for,
I understand that, but it's way over what it should be.
you're right, you're 100% right, and
So
I
you-
apologize.
For me, lost all the confidence, can't trust you, don't know what you're gonna do.
Well, I
And
appreciate
you
that.
mentioned
That's
here
fair,
that
that's fair.
your integrity is the most important thing to you, and that's what we've seen the least of.
Once
Do you-
again,
I mean, do you agree?
I don't agree with that, but it's a fair, I mean,
Well, I don't
I-
want,
I agree-
I
I
don't
agree to
wanna put
disagree.
it, all right, I don't wanna put it out there, except both have an equal standing here and knowledge that things are not, have been done, they haven't been done on a timely basis. There's been promises after promises, you're gonna do this, you don't show up, you're gonna come down, you don't come down. It's, the whole thing is like a circus. And there has to be good reasons for that, okay? And what I think, as far as for the board, a reasonable reason on one or two instances would be acceptable. But this has gone on over and over and over and over again, and you wanna talk to the board, and you're supposed to have meetings with, Mr. Wise, you don't show up. Credibility's down the tubes. You can sit there and apologize, and you can tell us how you're gonna do all this stuff. Me personally, I'm not buying any of it, don't believe it.
fair enough.
Well, just help us out with take a look and make sure that elementary's done, and, if we have a discrepancy, honestly, then it's gonna be my responsibility to get a consultant to take a look at
Sure.
the roofs.
Sure.
And what I'll do is, I hate to do it this way, but that means I'm gonna check everything.
Sure.
And so I'm just letting you know that if you think that the elementary has been done, and I do not think it has been done, then a consultant will have to be brought in, after we,
Sure.
that's gonna be my recommendation to the board.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Okay, did we determine that the pre-K 3 speech building was or was not done?
It was not done, according to what I see.
It's the little building right here.
This is on the first invoice. And 3, 4, 5, 6 was on that first invoice.
Mhm.
And
What, I
Okay,
don't.
so hold on just a second, I've got a picture. Just a minute.
I think it might be underneath those papers right there on the right side.
Yep. Okay, so this is where we're at here.
Mm-hmm.
It would be this building right here. So this is the auditorium that has the weight room, and I think it was called AD's office, that's those. So it'd be this building right here.
And it was on the original invoice?
that original invoice, which is, I didn't hand these out. Can you hand those out? Everyone should have that. It was, on that original invoice, it says, elementary 3, 4, 5, 6.
So that would be one. So did you do one? Because it shows in here as being part of your bid.
Right here. Here's the original contract.
Yeah.
And this is what is signed. It says elementary building 3, 4, 5, 6. You can take a look right there.
I'll get it done next
The
week.
sheet hers, okay.
Roof replacement.
Once again, I apologize, I'll get it done next Tuesday.
Okay. All right. So we're looking at this building here, elementary, and the one just right south of it, the small one.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Is there any danger to kids or anything like that, power washing or anything like that while the kids are in there?
No, it's just gonna, other than water, other than, you know, we could power wash on a Saturday prior to that, and then, you know, coat it, and there would be no issues with overspray.
Is it coating applied, is it applied with a sprayer or roller?
I don't like to, I mean, with all the cars over there, that silicone travels, I'll just roll it.
So, I don't know exactly where I saw it, but is both of those buildings, do they both get, a primer and a coat, a primer and a,
Sealant.
This is a, GE's a one-coat application.
actually, I think it was called primer and cover, is how it was in here.
And then this, it would get a 20-year warranty on that roof.
Okay, and both of them would be done the same way?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Has he already been paid for these?
For the elementary,
Yeah.
that was the first invoice, I believe. Was it, let me see if it's in here.
It's not on my original invoice.
No, it's not on this one, no.
No.
But it's on the original contract right there.
Yeah.
To have it done?
It's not.
Yeah, it's not
Okay, so
on
there's
this,
no
it's on
invoice.
the
No, I
contract.
haven't paid for it, no, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
And is there, what's going, you don't know what the cost is gonna be? Right now,
Whatever the ACV amount is.
what was
for
the,
those roofs.
how much?
How much was the amount?
Yeah,
Pre-K three.
I'd have to take
Did
a
it-
look and, well, he's gonna have
Roof
to
primer
invoice
and
us,
roof
but
coating.
well,
the
okay.
contract says he's
I
not
was just
taking any
curious.
more money than
Okay.
insurance.
okay.
That's what it says.
Yeah, I just wanna be sure that having to come back now,
Is it on here?
that the price is not gonna increase
Um,
because product is
I don't
increased.
know
It
what
won't
that is.
increase past the,
That's the, so it's not.
I mean, he's the one who put this in the,
So
It was called
it can't go,
pre-K
it can't go
flat.
past the insurance
Can't go
money, so.
beyond the
Right.
insurance.
you stuck like glue.
Yeah, I don't know if they didn't approve it on that, but it's not. These are all the structures.
Okay. So, he said whatever. Oh, I was gonna stay so organized. Hold on just a second. Elementary buildings, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, I just, I
That
don't-
is
I don't know if the
elementary
insurance
4.
company- It's, I'm saying the insurance company didn't, I don't know if they didn't approve it. It's not, they didn't allocate funds for it. I can check with, with OSIG and,
I'm sorry, what was the statement? I missed something.
Okay, so he's saying that it wasn't on the insurance,
Statement
the
of loss.
insurance statement of loss did not include pre-K 3 speech room.
It's on your contract.
I know, but look,
He's saying the insurance company turned it down, isn't that what you said?
yes, sir.
They wouldn't accept it.
I'll call the insurance
Okay,
company. It
sure.
says
So-
elementary.
So if it was not on here, I don't understand why it was bid.
Well, that's what I sent into the insurance company. They don't approve everything.
Okay, so the insurance
I wish
company
they
worked,
did.
so the insurance company worked off of this.
Well, I mean, that's what I sent in. They didn't approve everything, and so this is what everything they approved. Here.
Okay, but again, the insurance company was sent this.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So, Mr. Weiss, are you gonna contact the insurance company?
Oh, yeah, I'll
Okay.
call them.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Mr. Hall. No problems.
So I would suggest not doing that building until we find out something.
Correct.
You're talking about pre-K?
Pre-K 3 speech.
I'm sure they'll have an answer by, I mean, we get
Well,
it.
if you call him, you can get an answer pretty quick.
I
Should
think
be
so.
able to.
Should be able to. by
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Whoever's in charge of it can go to that adjustment and see, and find out why they turned it down, if they did. All right.
Okay. Are there other issues to be discussed?
What else needs to be done that hasn't been done?
As far as I can tell, that's it. The elementary is the last thing that needs to be done, according to what I understand.
Was the vent put in the greenhouse? The louvered vent put in the greenhouse?
No, it was not.
It's on this.
It's on the statement of loss. He said that he wasn't gonna do some of the work on the statement of loss. And I assume we're not
Okay, so
getting
this is,
charged for it.
No,
Okay.
sir.
okay.
And does that, okay, help me out here. Does that mean that part of that, 600 and,
Yeah, whatever I didn't do, you would just deduct it from, like on the greenhouse, deduct it from that amount.
okay.
Yes, yes, sir.
So we'll take it from the amount. So when we get a total, okay, I'm with you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I'm a little bit at a loss. If he's supposed to do that and he decides he don't want to do it, isn't it say on the paperwork this is supposed to be done?
On this paperwork, what they do, according to what I understand, sir, is that they give us a certain cash value for the building, saying that we can repair them. If he doesn't do the work, of course, he doesn't get the money, and we can get somebody else to repair it.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of black and white. There's not much gray with me, either except for my face. Why didn't you put the vent in? Because it wasn't, the insurance company didn't want you to do it, or? You said, I'm not gonna put the vent in. You had a reason?
Well, because, I mean, I didn't know that, at the time when this decision was made, if you were gonna do anything with the greenhouse anyways. But it sounds like you are, and so I can look into getting that done. I'll take a look at it when I leave tonight. The only issue is just with the dollar figure on that. It's, what's the greenhouse amount on it that you see?
The greenhouse amount, 231.48,
That's the replacement cost.
That's the
actual cash
replacement
value
cost,
is
yeah.
175.
175.71.
Well, I'll take a look at it and I'll get with Mr. Weiss tomorrow and
You're gonna visit with Tim at length on the rest of this, or?
I can, yes, sir,
Yeah, okay, item by item,
absolutely. Sure.
okay. That's just for the board's clarity?
Sure.
Yeah.
Is
That's
there-
that's our responsibility, and
Absolutely.
we're gonna make sure that what needs to be done is
That's-
done. and
I'm glad.
What
that
you've
y'all-
done, you get paid, and if you haven't done it,
Yes, absolutely. I'm glad y'all got through.
That's it.
There's a lot of districts that, are so willy-nilly that do things are crooked and, so I applaud you for the way y'all do things.
yeah. Who's that, Mr. Britton?
We don't have much
Who's
money to
Mr.
begin
Brett?
with, so.
It was a, former partner.
Larry Britton was a partner?
I bought him out a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay. Does he still have another?
He
Does
still
he have another
showing the
operation?
websites as owning the thing.
He's still, the license, he's still on the license, but,
Okay.
if you look at our Heritage Hills Commercial Services, it's, that's when I bought it, I opened that Heritage Hills Commercial Services LLC.
Now, there's a whole bunch of them running up and down from Oklahoma down into Texas. Heritage
Are there?
Roofing, yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. I thought this was a large corporation that had all these, detours off on, this guy's doing this doing this, then I run across that
I'm
name.
just,
Larry Britton, and I'm saying, well, if you're working for Larry Britton,
no, I own the company and, make all the decisions and,
so
I'm
he has the license that you're operating under?
No, I have my own license.
Okay,
I do.
but he still has the license.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I misunderstood
I
what you said a minute ago.
have the commercial license, he has a residential license.
Okay, all right.
Does his license overlap into yours?
No, sir,
Okay.
totally separate,
Two separate dogs?
two separate, yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. You know, the
Any other
gentleman has
questions?
a long drive home.
Oh, it's, I do stuff. I was in Muldrow last night at the their, so it beats driving home from Muldrow,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Just watch for the elk.
I definitely will.
They go through the windshield.
Give it down here,
Oh,
we
absolutely,
appreciate
thank
it.
you. Once again, thanks for your time. And I'm gonna go look at that vent, Mr. Weiss, and I'll be with you tomorrow on that.
Okay, thank you.
Y'all have a good evening, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. If I can find where I am. All right, okay, 9.2, consideration, discussion, and possible board action regarding faculty key access to the gym and outside organizations using the gym.
Okay, how do we want to start this discussion? I think I should start. I'm gonna start with, tort law, right? Okay, tort law is the area of law that has to do where one person thinks someone has done something to another person and sues them, right? They think one person has done something wrong, and then they take them to court. In this case, we're talking about personal injury law, right? If you're using the gym, something happens to somebody, they can sue. Even though people say there's no liability, that's not true. Every school district has rental agreements with liability and liability stuff in there. Okay, so the idea about who can get sued, let's talk about who can get sued. People that can get sued if we're not very careful is the school board, the administrators, the superintendent. I'm just naming the big ones. So, how can some sort of liability occur if the gym is open? Well, let's take a look at the situation that I outlined to him in the letter, and there's more to the story than just me, telling people that they can't use the gym. We had a closed week. Everyone has it. It's the same week across the state. The gyms are closed by the rulings from our athletic organization. We have to close it in July for a few days. For our purposes, we closed it for a very specific reason. I don't know if you guys know this or not. One of our gyms was broken. One of the brackets was off the gym. And I told our athletic director, close the gym until we get it repaired. During the week prior to that, it was in a situation where I wouldn't even have the kids using that part of the gym. They could use the other goal, but they couldn't use that goal. So over that dead week, we were going to have that thing repaired. Well, lo and behold, I get a call, it was in the evening, that our gym is open. People are using the gym. Number one, people aren't supposed to be using our gym. How do they get into the gym? Well, they have a key. Somebody gave them a key to the gym. So that's what I'm talking about. It is very difficult for us to be able to monitor who's getting inside of our gym if we hand keys out to everyone. Typically, you hand them out to the coaches. This is our facility request form, and if you take a look at it, it says very clearly, the gym is only for students. I didn't create this. This is something that has been here since before I got here.
So it's been there but not enforced.
I don't know.
It was tried to be
I think
enforced.
I think Ms. Vogely was trying to enforce it. She told me that no one was allowed in the gym
Right.
when I called her.
Except students.
Yes.
If there was a coach, that was a board policy from years ago. If a coach wanted to be, he didn't have to be, but if he wanted to be, go in with the students, he could, or the coach, whatever, he, she.
Okay.
So we have a situation where one of the people that has the keys letting people in. Liability occurs when you don't upkeep your equipment and someone's injured because of the equipment. Well, our equipment wasn't upkept. I'm telling you, it needed repair. That's why we shut it down. And people are up there using it. So that opens us up for liability. I'm just sort of outlining this whole scenario for you. Another area of liability occurs if someone has a key and they let people in and then they leave the area, students unattended. That is the worst kind of lawsuit that you guys can imagine. anything can happen when the kids are unmonitored. And I mean anything. And he may say it only happens in big schools, but I'm telling you it doesn't. Uvalde was not a big school. I was there. And I'm telling you, I've seen things that would make you cringe because nobody's monitoring the kids. You don't just hand out the keys, you make sure that you have, the coaches with the keys, and then you have a way for people to access the gym that need it. So, there's ways that we can limit our liability if we wanna open up the gym to people. Now, there's a couple of caveats to that. The first thing is, our gym is being used after school by the, especially during let's say basketball season, by the girls for an hour, and, by the boys for an hour, and then by the girls. So someone would have to have the gym open after that for access. Who's gonna do that when the coaches are already going to games on Saturday? You know, they have practice until after school, and, you know, they have a family and other obligations that they're trying to do. We're gonna have to pay somebody to get up here to monitor the gyms, or the coaches can monitor if they want to, but typically the coaches haven't wanted to. So, I mean, that's something that we need to take into consideration. The other thing is, outside, I've been trying so hard, guys, to reestablish our athletic programs. If we open up our gyms, if the possibility exists, let's say AAU, somebody else comes in, kids wanna go to AAU, but guess where they don't wanna go? To Indiahoma baseball, to Indiahoma softball. They don't wanna expand our programs, and we're allowing someone to come into our gyms and use our facilities while they're taking our kids into those other programs. That's something that we really need to consider. So, I limit the keys that go out because right now we don't have a good policy for liability. There's a couple of policies that we can come up with. One is for open gyms for the students. Everyone has to sign a liability sheet. And then there's another one for people that want to use the gym. If those people want to use the gym, typically, you'd give them a liability clause, and depending on what they're doing, like an AAU event or something like this, you'd have some sort of liability insurance so that nobody can say that the school district's responsible in case somebody gets injured.
They'd have to have their own insurance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's typically what happens in districts. If you call cash, I bet they have one of those things, I'm telling you. Every district I've ever been in has been like this. And here's the reason why, guys. You don't get sued until you get sued. And then when you get sued, you wish that you had this stuff that everyone says it's not important. It's important when you need it. And when people sue you, it's gonna be because when they get the bill on a doctor's deal, it's gonna be so high, they're gonna want somebody else to pay for it other than themselves. That's typically how it works. That's why.
Or
I'm
their
trying to be so
insurance
careful.
company will sue you.
I'm sorry?
Or their insurance company will sue you.
It's possible, yes.
Yeah, because they don't want, that insurance company doesn't want to pay. They want somebody else to pay.
So I'm just gonna reiterate, when I hand out those keys, it's impossible for me to monitor who's getting into the gyms. Like, in July, I couldn't figure out who was in the gyms. I literally had to come up here. And not only did I have to come up here, I was obligated to. If our students were in that gym that night, and I didn't know if they were or they weren't, that could cost us our whole season. Right, so I'm obligated to drive from my house up here to figure out who's in the gym and figure out why they're using it. They didn't tell us they were gonna be in there. We had shut down the gym and we made it very clear that gym was shut down. Just letting you know. So, I mean, those types of things need to be part of our consideration if we're gonna come up with a policy to allow people to use the gym. It becomes more, important when people from outside of our district, and Mr. Gibson was talking about bringing his son up here, or anybody else that wants to come up here and partake of that. I won't be able to monitor it. It's gonna be more important for those people from the outside because they're not part of our school district. If they're part of our school district and someone gets injured and it's part of the athletic program or part of the normal functioning of the school day, we have less liability. If it's someone from the outside, we have more liability. That's how it works. That's in a nutshell, and I'm not a lawyer, guys, but that's in a nutshell how I see the tort law in our personal injury liability if we just hand out keys and can't monitor what's going on in our own facilities.
Well, and our offices are there. If they come in through the gym, they get a key to that, and I don't know if that door locks going into Miss Bobby's lobby. If it doesn't, they can go all over the school.
That's a whole nother issue. Yeah, we had a bunch of people, I didn't know any of them, to be honest with you. Of course, I'd only been here 2 hot minutes. But, they had full access to the campus, and all the computer labs, everything else that's in there. And I'm not saying that they did, but you can't monitor that. If you can't monitor it, how do you know who's gonna be where?
Put a lock on the door.
We did put a lock on the door,
Well,
but it only locks from the outside, it doesn't lock from the inside. So if you're in the gym, you have access to the building.
Yeah, you've got
It's one of
It's
the
a
new
push
doors.
bar.
an egress
It's a push
cannot be
bar.
locked and
Yeah.
locked.
They used to
Yes.
could, but we got the new push bar doors.
Yeah, it's still an egress from that room, and you can't lock it. You just,
So here's my recommendation. I mean,
We're locked down all over here.
I didn't tell you guys all this without bringing forward a recommendation, so.
you can lock it where they
You can
can't
go out,
get
but-
in,
yeah.
but you can't lock it where they can't leave.
So here's my recommendation. I mean, we can take a look at having the gym open with someone to monitor it for someone that's not a coach, outside of season, outside of the sports season, because the coaches, I mean, they're, like I said, they're practicing all the time. They're up there on Saturdays, they're up there in tournaments, they're doing all of this other stuff. Off season, some of the coaches said, I don't mind being up here and monitoring. So we can look at having scheduled times where we know people are gonna be in there, and then they're not, and then we know when they're not gonna be in there. We can take a look at that. For open gyms for our students, it's as simple as just filling out a liability waiver form. That's all it is. It just for extra protection for ourselves.
Get their parents to sign it.
Yes,
The right to-
absolutely. It's,
Well, wouldn't the same liability be for the non-students? The form to sign off?
Yeah.
non-students. So if you're talking about outside organizations.
Outsiders.
Right.
Not
So-
necessarily
Like
organizations, but people. Just
Individuals,
somebody that
whatever.
comes
I
up that
know,
wants to
just-
play, like they used to do. They would come up on Sundays and I believe Wednesdays.
Yeah. After
Wednesdays
church.
after church.
Do a
Wednesdays after
waiver
church,
that
and then
allows-
Sundays, they would come play. And it would be, there would be like a coach, an assistant coach, have a key, let people in to play. And there were, I believe, some, current students play. There were former, alumni playing. And then some friends of theirs that were from other towns that, other than coming out here to play basketball with some friends, they didn't have a connection to the school. So, I would say if the decision is made to allow what I'm gonna refer to as outsiders come in and play 1 or 2 nights a week, then that has to be, that there's got to be somebody that's gonna assume the responsibility for keeping people out of the hallway, keeping it cleaned up, making sure all that stuff is done. It's gonna have to be.
Yeah.
Currently, I mean, you saw, I don't know if that sheet went around, but the sheet that I handed out, the current
Are you done
deal
with it?
says that it's only for Indiahoma students. So we would have to change that to open it up for people that are from the outside. I did not
Instead of
create that. That was
Indiahoma students,
already,
you
that
put
was already in
individuals.
place.
It's a word.
Yeah.
It's a word.
Indiahoma residents. Or
That doesn't cover it all. Individuals, covers individuals. Be wherever they're from. And I know some alumni that come with,
Oh,
like
yeah.
to come
No,
back,
and
and,
that,
you know.
I understand that, and
Is there gonna be a separate set of rules for if a current faculty member wants to bring? I'm gonna use Zach as an example. If he wants to come up here and bring his son and play, is that gonna be allowed and how's that gonna be handled? I
That's
think
not-
that there needs to be
That's the board's decision.
multiple ways to look at this.
right.
If the
Because he's
decision-
wanting a key to keep, so he can come whenever he wants.
Well, I mean, he could sign a key out.
But
If
if
he's
we
gonna-
put
if
the
he's gonna have his-
parameters down that we just do it on Wednesdays and Sundays, then that'll limit, he doesn't get the key, he does it on Wednesdays and Sundays. But we still need the waiver
Right.
for liability
Yeah.
issues.
Okay.
Yeah, oh, what, yeah, we've gotta have something.
But again, I don't know what you do about access to the rest of the school. I don't think that's a good idea.
But you start saying, well, do this group, but not this group, you're getting into discrimination.
Well, I'm saying that there's an outside group and then there's a faculty member with a child that wants to come play. I think you need to either treat them, I think the decision needs to be determined, are we gonna treat them the same? That we ask Zach to sign a waiver for his son if he gets hurt,
Treat everybody the same.
okay?
Yeah.
So,
If you don't, then you're discriminating,
Okay.
and then you have a lawsuit, and we're trying
Well,
to eliminate lawsuits.
You know, yeah.
I'd like to see the faculty be able to use the facility. I think, we can incorporate that somehow with, however you would like to see that function. For me, I'd like to see them be able to use it. But there has to be some
Structure.
regulatory requirements. And I'm even thinking about, because you don't have someone supervising them at the time if it's not a coach. And the cleanliness, sweeping and mopping the floors afterwards. If they want to really use the gym and come, can we say, you gotta pay?
Deposit,
You gotta pay. To hire somebody to maintain that, hire somebody to clean up
That's an
after you.
option,
Oh, well, yeah.
or just
Most places
deposit
have a
that if they
rental
clean it
agreement.
up themselves.
Huh?
Most places do have a rental agreement, and it's, you have to pay for a custodial to clean up. Generally, it's, there's a couple of things that are involved with this. So, one thing, I'm just gonna tell you, that gym has never looked better than it currently does. And
That's
part of
right.
that is because JB cleans that floor
I know.
like crazy.
Yep.
So people using the gym, are they using the gym like he does? Probably
If they
not.
want to use it, they're gonna have to do it.
How are we
Or we're
gonna
gonna
know?
pay somebody to do it,
Deposit.
but we're not gonna pay it. It'll be a rental fee if you wanna come into the gym. I'm not in favor of doing it to people outside the community. I'm not. The faculty and people in the community, because we don't want a bunch of dopeheads and drunks coming in there tearing stuff up and screwing around. We've gotta consider that as a possibility. So, yeah, I'm for it, but it's certainly gonna have to be waiver, liability, and somebody's gonna have to be in charge of it, and whoever wants to do the gym needs to pay for it.
We can look into it. I can come up with a policy. I think that we can come up with a liability waiver for open gym for the students. That's gonna open up anyway. It's about to open up anyway.
Yeah.
And then we can take a look at, if you don't want outside organizations coming in and it's just for faculty, it'd be the same liability waiver, probably. If it's
I'm
just
talking
faculty.
about wear and tear on the gym, and the expectation that's gonna be taken care of. A lot of people are gonna come into somebody else's gym, they don't care,
Yeah.
all
They don't
right?
care. It isn't
But
theirs.
the people that I'm talking about coming in are gonna have a vested interest, at least being a resident of the community, or be a faculty member, or their kids, to play. I'd like to see them have access, but, I'm not up for opening it up to
I-
Joe Bob and all his relatives. No. See much wear and tear on that gym, on the floor.
And how are we going to, help me out with the keys? How did you want to manage the keys?
I think the keys ought to be signed out.
Yeah, sign them in, sign them out.
You can have,
The issue's not signing them in and signing them out. The issue with the keys is, when you have a key, it's impossible to monitor who's using the gym and when and who they're letting in.
no, they have to sign it.
Well,
They
do we
don't get
have
it.
cameras?
They just get it for that day.
No, there's no cameras in
They'd
the
have to.
gym.
There's no
Yeah,
cameras in
there's-
your office? In your
There's none
lobby?
in my office. No,
I'm
I've
sorry,
been
not
asking
office,
for 'em.
lobby? Is there any in the lobby?
The high school lobby.
Are there cameras in the gym?
I believe there is.
That,
think there's
he
one.
alluded to that.
There's
think
one
there's
camera.
one.
I believe that there's one camera.
And there's no cameras in the restrooms, can't be. And that's an
Yeah.
area where you get, sorry.
Okay.
Well, you
Thank
could
thank you.
maybe look into locking the doors to the bathroom, but then,
No, you can't.
You can't.
Well, you could
Yeah.
block where they couldn't get in, but you still gotta have a restroom for them to use, do you not?
Yeah. We'll have
do
to-
you?
I don't know.
Do you?
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's,
I would rather have them use the bathroom than
then use the bathroom somewhere inappropriate, yeah.
trash can.
Yeah, it's a, It's not an easy question. I mean, it's,
No, but I think there's a way that can be done.
I think
And-
it's
and-
just but it's having supervision.
Was,
You're gonna
does
have to-
anybody ask
We're
any,
gonna have to tighten up the shoelace.
any other schools around what their policies are?
We asked, we have one response that I'm aware of. They don't let, Chatty doesn't let anyone from the outside use their gyms, but they do open it up for their faculty. They open it for their faculty. He didn't say he handed out keys.
students.
And they sign a waiver, or are they covered under the insurance of the school? Faculty members.
I didn't ask him about that. I was asking about key access, cause that's what he was asking.
I think the faculty should sign a waiver, because they're not at work in there.
No.
That's not workman's compensation, I'm
No.
sorry.
Okay.
And
See
we
that,
have a,
these are some of
we
the
have
things that
certain
we can
days,
talk
and we have
about
a
and exclude
custodian stay
into.
those days late to open
Yeah.
and shut the gym
I know in,
at Bishop.
That's
in
what
Lawton,
my
when they used to do
recommendation
the kids' athletics in the schools, the team had to, had their little fees for each player, but part of that went to pay the custodian to clean that
Yeah,
up.
that's what I was telling Mr. Wise. We have certain days at Bishop and we have a custodian stay late.
Right.
And those are the only times they have
Who
to be.
uses the gym?
Like other teams, like you have other teams in Lawton that needs a place to
So it's-
practice.
It's organized sport. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell Zach.
Use a facility use agreement.
Yeah.
with them.
But they have
Well, there's some
scheduled days.
elementary schools in Lawton that don't have
Yeah.
gyms. So that's like when my
They're playing
kids
for the-
played,
Oh, I
we
see.
went to Brockland and they let us use their gym.
And they're
Right.
playing for the Y, and I guess the Y only has so much time to practice.
Well, and they've got so
and
many teams and they
Yeah.
don't have, they can't schedule
Locations.
everybody's time.
Yeah. So
What
they have
about
a
a list
scheduled
of
time.
monitors that will be in charge of that period of time? It just,
So-
not necessarily faculty, because I'm not faculty, and if I say, hey, I'd like to come up and let the kids play, because I like to go to the ball games and watch them play, and I want them to be good.
But are you talking
And-
about just students, or are you talking about
I'm
outsiders?
talking about me. I'm not faculty, so I can't
Right.
do that.
We can work out a schedule. That's not hard. Opening up the gym and creating a schedule is hard, is not hard.
Yeah.
It's very easy in saying, okay, the gyms are gonna be open if you want faculty at this time. I'm not convinced that's exactly what he wants. He probably wants access whenever he wants to.
Well,
get in.
Well, yeah, I'm
A
sure.
part of
And
it,
I
a part,
understand.
yeah, a part of this is, he takes all this real personal.
Yeah.
And he's not looking at the whole broad thing, like that's what we're talking
Well,
about right
That's
now.
not his
I
responsibility.
think
We
the
gotta,
thing-
we gotta cover the whole thing.
Based on some stuff that I read previously, I think it comes down to, well, this is what we've always been allowed to do.
It doesn't matter.
I understand that. But when somebody has been allowed to be up here for years and years and years, playing on Wednesday and Sundays, and then all of a sudden that's shut off, then it's why?
Sure.
We used to pray in
Well,
school.
Wednesdays and Sundays.
I understand, but that's what I'm saying. That's the thing is, well, we've always been allowed, I don't understand what the problem is. And then it comes into, he feels that somebody doesn't like him, okay.
Well, then, that's okay. But, we need to figure out some way to take this forward. Would the faculty, can you do a thing and find out how the faculty would support this?
Sure. Of course I can.
Yeah.
Our faculty even has to have a scheduled time to
Yeah, sure. I mean, because it's not hodgepodge. It's a resource in this school, and we can't waste it. We need to use it, but we don't need to abuse it.
We don't need to allow others to do it.
Well, and you don't need street shoes
Right.
No,
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 on that
no.
new floor.
yeah,
Uh-uh.
that's a lot of time.
And that's even stated on the
So
waiver.
do we need to table this
Yeah,
to come up with a set of rules, or do we need to vote on it and then come up with the rules after?
What I can
What are
do
we
is-
voting on if we don't have the rules?
yeah.
Well, what I can do is come up with a schedule that you guys can approve. I'll take it past the faculty, just like you said. I'm not, personally, I am not, you guys make the decision here. If you tell me what I need to do, I'll do it. I'm not very keen on giving out keys. I'm just gonna tell you, because I can't monitor how that's being used, and that's what my point was to him, even though he sort of missed it. Somebody else had a key. They let somebody in, they weren't supposed to be in there.
We've had that problem for years.
And when I called Miss Vogel, she said, no, nobody's supposed to be in there. Well, somebody was in there. The gym was supposed to be repaired. The stuff is broken, and people are using it. If somebody gets injured, we're
We leave the
responsible.
doors
Yeah.
wide open.
Well, and, I'm sorry, but the electricity is in the neighborhood of $49,000 to $5,000 over the summer, guys. I know he doesn't believe it, but it's right up there. So I'll work on that. I'll bring a proposal to you guys, a recommendation, by the next board meeting. Is that okay?
Okay.
So essentially, we're gonna table this and continue.
I'll move to table this
Yeah,
until.
I second that, so we can get it. We're real broad right now, we'll get it narrowed down to where we can have control, and we don't have the liability for lawsuits.
Okay, did you second?
I did,
Okay, McKinney,
yes.
Bales?
Yes.
Ramirez?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
Cavall?
Yes.
Right now, put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing here. Okay. Number 9.3. 9.2, motion was approved to table the issue. 9.3, consideration, discussing and possible board action to approve Great Plains Technology Center MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, including science and math courses for academic credit.
So we have an MOU that we do with Great Plains Technology Center. It's every single year. They've sent this to us. It needs to be approved by the board. And the courses also need to be approved, which is why this is both in there at the same time. So I'm just gonna very quickly go over the courses that our students can take. It's all Project Lead the Way courses, as I see it right here, except for one. Project Lead the Way Digital Electronics counts for a math credit. Project Lead the Way Principles of Bioscience counts as a science credit. Project Lead the Way Human Body Systems counts as a science credit. Project Lead the Way Medical Interventions as a science credit. Project Lead the Way Civil Engineering and Architecture counts as a science credit. Project Lead the Way Aerospace Engineering counts as a science credit. Project Lead the Way Biomed Innovations counts as a science credit. And then Computer Education, Project Lead the Way counts as computer technology credit. Project Lead the Way Principles of Engineering as a computer tech credit. And Engineering by Design, which is not Project Lead the Way, as an elective credit. Those are the courses that they give to us that we can put our students in. It's Project Lead the Way is an excellent curriculum, and I've used it before in various school districts. So they have some quality material that they're using for our students. The students can only get a credit for those courses if the teacher is certified in those areas. So a non-certified teacher cannot get them credit, but a certified teacher can, as long as they're taking these courses and the teacher is certified.
And will their teachers be certified?
Yes, they generally are
I
certified.
thought they are,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. They didn't hire them, I didn't think they hired them if they weren't. Is there discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve it.
I second.
McKinney?
Yes.
Bales?
Yes.
Ramirez?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
Cavall?
Yes.
Motion carries. 9.4, discussion and distribution of board member points.
One of the things that we do is we take a look at all the board members and their points, and I have to tell you guys, that you're doing an outstanding job. I can't put it any other way, it's outstanding. So I'm just gonna go very quickly over the points. Who has, Dr. McKinney, you're good until 2025.
Yeah, I didn't know, somebody elevated me to PhD, I appreciate it.
Wayne Bales, you're good until 2024.
You get the raise with that too.
Well,
don't
see,
you?
my initials are DR,
Oh.
Donald Raymond, and I've had mail come to me, Dr. McKinney. So, yeah, notwithstanding, I appreciate that, but it's
I
not
apologize.
true.
I apologize. Wayne Bales, good until 2024. You have you're over 11 points, higher than you need to be. Really good. Cavall, you take the cake with additional 20 points. You're good until forever.
We're not gonna let you.
I won't be here forever. I just forewarn you guys.
Dr. Ramirez, you are absolutely fantastic. You need 2 points by July 31st. That's not a problem at all. And Ms. Cook, you have 15 months.
Yeah, and I should get mine in April
April, yeah.
during the Oklahoma City trip.
Everyone is in good standing. There's not a problem with any of it. So thank you guys for taking care of all of the things, and you guys do an outstanding job. I can't tell you enough.
Okay, number 9.5, consideration, discussion, and possible board action to approve dropout data.
Hopefully everybody has gotten a packet. There's a sheet that looks like this in that packet. And we have to go over the dropout data and remediation report. It's one of the requirements through the State Department of Ed. And so I pulled this data from our single sign-on system. This is actually put together by the state, and I just go over it and I put it in a table for you. And so it's broken down by grade level if you take a look at it. There's the number of students that are in the
The
cohort.
very back. Looks like this.
Might have another one.
It says dropout data 2021, 2022.
Did I not put one in there? Okay, there it is. So it's broken down by grade level. There's the number of students in the cohort and then the number of dropouts in each cohort. What we're taking a look at primarily are the number of students that are found in our Orion outside. Orion.
17 guys or whatever.
Right, now, I will tell you that one person, that 12th grader that's on there, is ours. And they decided to leave us and not come back, and we couldn't track them down. So they discontinued their schooling. That's one from our campus. We only had one last year, and the rest are pretty much from Orion.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions about the data there? That's why the numbers are so high. We don't have, like, in 11th grade, we don't have 25 kids in 11th grade.
Yeah.
So those are coming from another campus.
Yeah.
Just like, you guys can sort of see the numbers there.
Ryan, our group home?
It's,
The juvenile.
yes.
It's up, yeah, it's a group
Okay,
home,
yeah,
yeah,
okay,
basically.
all right.
Children in need of supervision.
Make a motion to approve the data. I mean, it's there. What are we gonna do?
I'll second.
McKinney?
Yes.
Bales?
Yes.
Ramirez?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
Cavall?
Yes. Okay. 9.6, consideration, motion carries to approve the data. 9.6, consideration, discussion, and possible board action to approve annual college remediation report.
Okay, so this information is also on the sheet, and I just pulled it right out of the report. The way that they have it lined up in the system, which is from the state regions for higher education, same people that gave us the state championship
Right.
recognition, is this. They have every single district in the state, and so, we're up against everybody else, and I didn't want to have you guys take a look at that data. I just pulled our data out of it. This is great data for
It's the
a
same
specific
page.
reason.
It's on the
What this information means is,
It's the same as this one, it's just on the bottom.
It's underneath that paper.
Everybody's being
right, so when our students go to college, I've seen this in some very, very good schools. Some students will typically have to get basic level courses in order to take college level courses, but they'll take them in college. We have 0 in remediation courses, which means a lot. That means that our students don't need those basic courses. They don't need a remediation course in order to do college level work. That's pretty remarkable.
They're not put on probation by the university either, are they?
Well,
I was.
I was there a couple of years
Some
before
of
they
those,
put me on that.
they don't even get it. For the remedial ones, do you get accreditation for them?
No, the college, it's a college, they take the course in college and they get no college credit for it.
Right, that's
It's a
what I'm
cash
saying.
cow.
So
Yes.
they're already behind the 8 ball kind of.
Right,
You know,
but
as far as they get there.
the problem with our students having to take remedial courses is this. It's an additional burden on the families.
Yeah.
It's an additional burden on the students. The students have to get past those courses to begin to take their college courses for credit.
I mean, they're already
If
behind
they
the
don't
8
have
ball.
to, if we don't have any students that need remediation, they're going straight to the college level course immediately, which is pretty spectacular.
That's why the end of instruction and ACTs are pretty important to these kids.
Yes.
Test taking skills.
So out of 8 students, we have 0 that need remediation. That's fantastic.
I definitely move to approve that.
Second.
McKinney,
Yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Ramirez,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Cavall.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, approve that big time. Okay. Item 9.7, consideration, discussion, and possible board action to approve changes to 2022-2023 calendar.
So during our calendar, we have to have it approved by the State Department of Education. If we make any sort of adjustment to that, we have to get it approved by the board, and then we have to send those changes into the state. We had 3 weather days. I think almost everybody had some combination of weather days, you know, the snow and ice days that we had. January 24th, January 31st, and February 2nd were the days that we had. We have to change the days in our student information system. We have to change the hours on our hours to days worksheet. We have to send all of that into the state, and we have to have a letter that's signed and approved by the board president and the board that says that we made those changes and everything is good to go.
And they were done?
Oh,
Yes.
Okay. So I make a motion to approve?
I'll second.
Go ahead.
McKinney,
Yes.
Bales.
yes,
Ramirez,
Yes.
Cook,
Yes.
Cavall.
Yes.
motion carries. 9.8, consideration, discussion, and possible board action to approve calendar for 2023-2024.
I've given you guys 2 sheets on this. The calendar looks like a regular calendar. This gives you what our next year's gonna look like. And so we have professional days running the beginning of August, and then our first day of school starts August 7th. You can see the number of conference dates that we have, our, of course, vacation days that we have, and everything is good to go. On the next sheet, it sort of breaks down what everything is supposed to look like. The number of days that we're supposed to have with the students in the seats is 158. We actually have 159. So we've added a little bit of cushion on that. And our 1080 requirement is absolutely met. And our total is going to be 1096.7, which really gives us about an additional cushion of 2 days in case of weather or anything else that we need. So I'm asking that we approve the school calendar for 23-24 school year.
I approve it. I'm sorry.
Move that we approve.
I make a motion to approve the calendar for 23-24.
I'll second.
Oh,
McKinney,
Yes.
Bales,
We help each
Yes.
other.
Cook,
Yes.
Cavall.
Yes.
Motion carries. You know how.
Thank goodness
Like
I'm
next
doing
year.
it to read. And my speaking skills.
It's okay. Number 9.9, superintendent's presentation, evaluation, teaching, learning, assessment, and staff relations.
Okay, it only happens if I can pull this up. Let's see if I can get it up and rolling.
Caleb's still here.
Yeah, he's back there.
Yeah, he's waiting.
He's here in body. I'm not sure he's mind and spirit with us. Looking a little vague back there.
No, home sounds pretty good though. But it's not been a long day.
Come on over here and go ahead. Work your expertise on this.
To be honest, I don't really know this board very well.
I don't either, and so. We'll get all the way to the end, so let's see if I can get back to the beginning here. Start at the beginning, how about that? Yeah. Thank you, sir, appreciate it. Okay. Okay, there's a couple of things that I wanted to go over with you guys, and one of the things that, that I wanted to talk to you about, let's see if I have professional knowledge, okay, we're on the first page here. when I was working on this presentation, I was thinking to myself, how in the world am I supposed to show you about professional knowledge? This is one of the more difficult things to do, and the time that we have to spend on this type of thing is not very long. So I've added in your packet some information so that you can sort of take a look at it. It looks like this. And I'm going to go over this in just a second very briefly, but I'm going to tell you that I've turned around multiple campuses as a principal, multiple campuses. The data that you're taking a look at are when I was on a campus as a principal, and these were campuses I turned around. I've been a curriculum director for 7 years, career and technology director for 4 years, assistant superintendent for instruction and human resources. But that doesn't mean anything if you can't translate it into professional knowledge that is usable in the field, right? So I have the data to show you that I've done some things that are pretty remarkable and shows that I have the professional knowledge in teaching, learning, and assessment. So this first campus that you're taking a look at, you can take a look at the scores. It was low performing when I stepped into it. One part during my career, I thought that my whole goal was to turn around campuses, and that's exactly what I did. I walked into campuses that needed the most help, and I tried to fix them. And this particular campus, if you take a look at the green part down there, they were low performing in social studies. 3 years later, look at the scores in social studies. You can see a dramatic improvement. We were actually commended in social studies and got a gold performance acknowledgement by the state for the improvement. You can see that there's improvements in just about every area. The second campus was actually the first campus that I was on. And they were academically acceptable when I first became, when I was first there as an administrator. And you can take a look at the scores by 3 years later. Pretty remarkable improvement in scores. Now, I'm going to tell you that this doesn't happen because you don't know what you're doing. It happens because you understand instruction, you understand staff, you understand what needs to happen to get a campus and groups together. If you take a look at the last page, it gives you the plus or minuses, what the improvements actually were. So you can see that the experience that I have actually relates to professional knowledge and what I can do on campuses. That's what I'm trying to show you guys from this information. There's a lot that needs to be done, but I have the professional knowledge to be able to work on campuses and do an exceptional job in getting the instruction up, working with and improving staff, and making sure that we have the very best campus that our students could possibly have and our teachers could possibly have. How does that work? Well, the focus begins on the students. And we really have to work on the instruction. I'm in the classroom all the time. I do at least 10 class visits per week, and it's probably more than that when I'm in the classroom all the time. The only time that I'm not walking around in the classrooms, actually, guys, is when I have some report that's burning a hole in my desk, and so I have to work on it. Other than that, I am in the classroom and I'm checking the instruction. I'm either formally or informally checking to see how the students are doing and seeing how the teacher is actually doing their instruction and teaching. I'm making sure that there are materials and resources. We're spending a lot of money, and I've told our staff we have about $94,000 that we can spend on materials and resources. We are looking at specifically reading and math. We're looking at aligning our curriculum, and of course we're working on the safe and supportive schools. All of those things are really the focus on students, and we're working really hard on trying to put all of those pieces together. Guys, I apologize. There's a lot of information that I could give you, and this is just really broad stroke stuff because there's no time to really get in depth on any one thing. Goal development. So let's talk about what we need to do, and we can talk a little bit more about this later, but there are some things that we need to do. We need to strengthen teacher development. We have teachers that are coming to us from areas where they're emergency certified or need some additional support. We need to make sure that the teacher development that we have on this campus can compensate for that. The responsibility of training our teachers up is moving away from the colleges and universities at this point, and it's actually being put on the backs of the districts. And so the districts are going to have to step up and figure out how we can really work with our teachers to develop them. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what we do with that. We're in the process of updating, like I said, and improving our instructional resources, and this is critical. We need some real improvement in this area. We need to, especially in the secondary, we need to improve our assessment system so it drives our instruction. And what we need to do is take the data, figure out where the students are, and then make that the point of the lesson as we're moving forward. And right now, we're struggling to put those pieces together. It's something that we're working on. Professional development. We have a relatively small staff, and so there's some good things about that. The very best thing about it is that we can give professional learning to teachers as they need it. One teacher may need one thing, another teacher may need something else. But our focus is gonna be on lesson design and student engagement. That's where we need it right now. I can surgically pinpoint, for example, our science, our ELA at the secondary level, and our math at the secondary level, and say, here's what we need to do to fix those things. And that's what we're working on right now. I'm coming up with some ideas about how to get some of the teachers that need some additional support, including our emergency certified, that additional support that they need. But I'm also taking a look at some of the other teachers that just need to, work on some of their development, and we're going to target all of them. We are currently working on curriculum alignment. We have a great teacher that we hired, and that's part of our recruiting and hiring section. But we hired a great teacher, and she's helping us put together some of the curriculum alignment 5 through 12. And of course, the areas that we're hitting on is ELA and math. Those are the two big areas that I really want to focus on. Sorry, this thing's very twitchy today. Recruitment and retention. We have been so lucky, I cannot even tell you. And some of it, guys, I'm just gonna tell you, is pure luck, because it's not me over there, winning hearts. But we've hired some veteran teachers, and the veteran teachers are really solid. It's really, I'm really pleased with some of the teachers that we have. We are going to retain and support the effective teachers, and we're gonna look at improving the ones that need the additional support. In terms of recruitment and retention, guys, I'm just gonna tell you, one of the big things that we did this year, and it's gonna be ongoing, it's gonna happen next year too, is a teacher incentive from ESSER. You approved it last year. I'm gonna bring it to you at the beginning of the year for another teacher incentive, and we're gonna see, if we can get that approved as well. That really helps with teachers wanting to stay in our district. Teachers that wanna stay in our district, do a much better job if they know that people are taking care of them. And so that's a good way to show it. So we have new teachers coming in. A lot of times they don't have the experience. We try to partner those teachers with a veteran teacher. Sometimes we have new teachers coming in and they're veteran teachers, and they don't need somebody to partner with, and they can partner with somebody that's a novice at the teaching field. So we're actually putting those teachers together. I personally, informally and formally meet with the teachers. There's a reason why I informally meet with them. Teachers will work better if you try to build a relationship with them. And I really do care about the teachers. I want to know what makes them click, what makes them work better as a teacher. I want to know if they truly have the heart for teaching, or if this is just a job for them. And so I meet informally and I sit down. I just sit down and talk to the teachers. Sometimes I talk to them for 20, 30 minutes, and sometimes it's very short. And then I formally evaluate them. And that means I'm sitting in the classroom and I'm taking a hard look at how they're designing their lessons. I'm taking a look at the student interaction in the classroom. I'm taking a look at whether or not the students have actually mastered the objective that the teacher's trying to teach them. And I'm taking that back to the teachers, and we're discussing what needs to happen. The well-being of the staff, guys, I try to limit my meeting times. I am not gonna do death by meeting to these teachers. And there's something else that I do. I allow some of the teachers to lead the meetings. Our teachers are leading other teachers in meetings, and there's a reason for that. I don't wanna push the meetings myself, because you have to build capacity. And if you wanna build leaders on your campus, you have to give someone the opportunity to be a leader. And so we're allowing those teachers to lead those discussions with their teams, and they can meet with them, they can talk to them about what needs to happen. I'll sometimes sit down with them and say, here's what we need to discuss, but they're the ones that are actually leading the charge on a lot of this. We provide flexibility for time off when they ask for it. And the reason why I do that is because the teachers cannot take care of themselves You know, they can't take care of others unless they take care of themselves first. They can't take care of others unless they can make sure that their family's safe. And so I make sure that they take care of their family, and I give them a lot of flexibility. If they say that they need time off, I need to take care of my kid, the kid's sick, I need to take them to the doctor, I don't even question it. Take care of your family, you have to. You have to take care of that first. You can't do a good job if you're worried about your family. And this is really important to me. I treat all teachers as professionals and experts in their field, and I think that's critically important. I don't know certain things in science, I don't know certain things in math, I certainly can't teach calculus. And so I treat the teachers as professionals, and I expect them to give me expert answers when I ask for it. You know, it's one of those things where if you treat the teachers like they're professionals and they're experts, they're going to act professionally, and they're going to do the best job that they can for you. Again, at least 10 walkthroughs a week. I'm very adamant about that. For the visibility. I'm in the hall all the time, probably more than I need to be. I'm the first one here, and I meet students during the bus drop-off. I take students to breakfast. I'm in the hallways. I'm in the weight room with the kids. I do all kinds of stuff. But I think that I'm pretty visible, and I make sure that the students know I'm here and the teachers know I'm here. I'm always in the classroom. You wouldn't be surprised that some of them are beginning to lock their doors to keep me out. In terms of communication, I have an open door policy. That means anybody can come in anytime. If my door's shut, you can still come in. I might tell them, hey, wait a second, I'm right in the middle of this thought. But I have an open door policy, and anybody can come in at any time. And my hope is to build trust, to really care about people, take an interest in what they're doing. And, you know, one of the things that people really need to understand about me is this. I don't bend the rules. I'm super consistent. I try to do the best I can under any circumstance, and hopefully they understand where I'm coming from, and they know that I'm consistent, I'm fair with them. Questions, comments? Guys, that was like super, super fast. Questions or comments?
On the calculus thing, if I have a theorem, no. That's where I dropped out of college.
Catball and calculus. You're getting confused.
Yeah.
9.9, okay, thank you for that presentation.
You got a boost? This stuff is good.
9.10, consideration and possible action on going into executive session to discuss the employment, hiring, appointment, promotion, demotion, discipline, or resignation of any individual salaried public officer or employee, and to conduct ongoing superintendent evaluation as identified in accordance with provisions of 25 OS Section 307B1. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
I make a motion to go into executive session.
Is there a second?
Second.
McKinney?
Yes.
Dale?
Yes.
Ramirez?
Yes.
Cook?
Yes.
Cavall?